This is the Cybervelo 1000W folding electric bike, a chunky black steel frame folder with 20-inch fat tires, a tall front suspension fork, and a big removable battery tucked cleanly along the frame. It looks purposeful rather than delicate, with thick welds, wide rubber, and a latch at the hinge that feels more industrial than dainty. The cockpit is simple and practical. An LCD on the bars, a thumb throttle on the right, paddle controls for pedal assist on the left, and a familiar 7-speed shifter. It carries the vibe of a compact trail rig that just happens to fold for storage. From my experience, assembly was straightforward but not a rush job. The bike arrives mostly pre-built, and I handled the usual last steps: bars, seat, pedals, then took my time with a careful once-over. I tuned the brakes, trued the rotors a touch, and checked all the bolts, especially around the hinge and headset. In my opinion, anyone new to e-bikes should plan a patient setup and a gentle shakedown ride to make sure everything feels dialed. Mechanical disc brakes benefit from bedding in, which means a few strong stops on a safe stretch to seat the pads against the rotors. It's a basic step, but it makes a big difference in how the bike stops and sounds. The first ride answered my biggest curiosity: how a 1000-watt motor with a 48-volt 20.8 amp-hour battery behaves on a folder. Key features that jump out are sheer thrust and range. The brushless hub motor surges forward with a firm push from a standstill, and throttle-only takeoffs feel easy even on mellow hills. On steep stuff, pedal assist maintains momentum without making me mash the pedals. PAS, short for pedal assist, is the system that adds motor power as you pedal. This bike offers 5 levels, so you can dial the effort from light help to strong boost. I used pass 2 and 3 for most of my time, and tapped the throttle to get through intersections or rejoin traffic smoothly. Speed is where expectations need context. The brand mentions 25+ mph, and with some bikes in this category, you'll see folks reporting speeds in the 30s. From my experience, flat ground throttle speed hovered around the high 20s, and with light pedaling, I watched the display flirt with the 30 mark. Rider weight, wind, tire pressure, and even controller settings can nudge that number up or down. I don't think this is a racetrack machine, and I wouldn't try to squeeze every last mile per hour out of it on busy streets. I did notice a faint shimmy near max speed. Nothing scary, but enough to remind me that a foldable frame trades a little rigidity for convenience. Where the bike really settles in is comfort and confidence. The front fork takes the sting out of potholes and curb cuts, and the fat tires soak up chatter while adding grip on gravel and wet patches. Those tires are wide, with thicker casing than standard commuting rubber, and they give the bike a planted, cushioned feel. I rode chip seal, cracked pavement, and a couple of packed dirt park paths, and the overall vibe was smooth and composed. Between the fork and the cushy seat post, I didn't feel beat up after longer rides. If you're new to e-bikes, this kind of suspension doesn't turn it into a downhill bike. It just filters out the rough stuff that normally rattles your hands and lower back. The 48-volt 20.8 amp-hour battery is the real story. That's 998 watt-hours of energy, and a quick way to think about watt-hours is how long the bike can deliver a certain level of power. If you ask for a lot of power all the time, high PAS or throttle only, you'll drain it quicker. Ride steady and moderate PS, and you'll go a long way. I strung together a long day of mixed city riding and path cruising, and got close to 70 miles before the gauge told me it was time to head home. It lines up well with the 80+ miles claim if you keep your assist moderate and pedal along. The battery pops out with a key, which I like because I can charge indoors without hauling the whole bike. It's a big pack, and that's both the reason for the range and a contributor to why this bike is not light. That brings me to weight and portability. I respect the fold, but I treat it as a storage feature, not a daily carry trick. The latch is sturdy, the fold is tidy enough for a trunk or closet, and it's great for road trips or tucking out of the way, but I would not plan on lugging it upstairs every day. Steel frame, big battery, fat tires, all good for strength and comfort, also make it hefty. I consider it a compact e-bike with a folding bonus, not an ultralight commuter. The brakes are mechanical discs paired with an EABS power cutoff. If that term is new, think of EABS as a safety that tells the motor to stop providing power the moment you squeeze a lever, so you're not fighting the motor while trying to slow down. Once bedded in, the brakes felt strong and predictable, and I never had issues scrubbing speed on a downhill. The LCD screen is easy to read at a glance and shows speed, PS level, trip distance, and battery. Under harsh sunlight, it can be a bit reflective, but it's perfectly usable. There's a charging port on the display, handy for topping off a phone or light. I had a few early worries. I wasn't sure if the frame hinge would creak or loosen, but it stayed silent after several rides and a few folds. I wondered if the steering would feel twitchy with the short wheelbase and big tires, yet the geometry feels calm and stable once you get moving. I also kept an eye on how the drivetrain shifted under load. The 7-speed derailleur does fine. I try not to shift while mashing hard at the highest assist, and I give the pedals a softer turn for cleaner gear changes. That's a general e-bike habit that keeps things happy. Service and support matter with any e-bike, and I paid attention to what other riders reported. The brand says it offers 24/7 support and a 1-year warranty on the motor, battery, and controller. I've seen positive notes about response time, and I've also seen a few frustrated comments saying they had trouble getting help. I haven't had to open a ticket yet. If you're risk-averse and want the comfort of a big retail service network, that's something to weigh. From my experience, buying direct gets you more power and range per dollar, with the trade-off that you may need to handle minor adjustments yourself or find a local shop for tune-ups. It's perfect for riders who want serious hill-taming power, long range for weekend loops or long commutes, and a soft ride over rough streets. If you have ground floor or garage storage, and you like the idea of a fold primarily for car travel or saving space, it makes a lot of sense. I'd recommend this for someone who's okay doing basic maintenance, tightening bolts, checking spokes, adjusting brakes, or someone who has a friendly local shop that's open to e-bikes. If you need to carry your bike up multiple flights regularly, if your commute involves trains or buses where you'll have to hoist the bike often, or if you want something featherweight and ultra-nimble for short hops, this might not be your match. Raw power and comfort are the priority here, not minimal mass. Also, if guaranteed, premium-level post-sale support is your top concern, consider whether the brand's approach and warranty meet your expectations. Key features that shape the experience for me are the 1,000-watt motor that pulls hard from low speed, the 48-volt 20.8 amp-hour battery that actually lets me plan rides by destination instead of by range anxiety, the fat tires and suspension that keep it smooth when pavement turns ugly, and the sturdy steel frame that inspires confidence even if it adds pounds. The Fold is the convenience cherry on top, not the main course. In my opinion, the Cybervelo 1000W folding electric bike earns its place as a foldable power cruiser. It doesn't try to be a featherweight last-mile scooter replacement. It's a compact powerhouse you can store more easily than a full-size e-bike, with enough motor and battery to make hills feel short and days feel longer. From my experience, the sweet spot is past 2-3, a steady cadence in the middle gears, and a mindset that values comfort and range. Set it up right, keep an eye on your tire pressure, and it's a blast to ride. In conclusion, if your priorities are muscle, mileage, and a forgiving ride, and you're okay with a heavier foldable frame and a bit of self-reliance on maintenance, this is a strong option with a lot of capability for the price. If you've got questions I didn't cover or want me to test something specific in a follow-up video, drop a comment. If this video helped, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next review, and let me know what e-bike you want to see next. Thank you for watching.